I don't watch the show. Everybody knows I don't watch the show. Brock Lesnar, June 29th, 2026. What Brock Lesnar did there was sum up what most people who watch this show say when asked if they watch this show. WWE RAW and every other show WWE produce are embarrassing to be caught watching nowadays. Same goes for pretty much all wrestling out there. But in WWE's case, they're not really wrestling shows. In fact, they're not even really sports entertainment shows. They're just lengthy commercial breaks, coupled with some poorly developed slop content for the cattle. Are you cattle? Do you see the forest from the trees, or do you just defend everything Triple Nose and his overlords pump out to destroy and cheapen the land that Vince built? Anyways, Oba Femi is king of the ring. That's nice. He's a bit green between the ropes, very sloppy on the selling front, cardio not exactly tip-top, but he's also charismatic, strong, and actually has a distinctive persona and style. He's got the big hoss vibe of an 80s heavyweight bruiser. And he was a fine choice for this mantle this year, especially compared to the pillar of alcoholic retardation he defeated in the finals. Here, tonight, Raw, Femi was confronted by Brock Lesnar, who, despite proving he can be a very entertaining promo, earlier this decade is back to hiding behind penny-pinching, obese, blight on the wrestling world, Paunch Hayfat. Heyman has not gotten anyone since the Lesnar-Reigns feud more over than they otherwise would have been beforehand. I am of course referring only to the Lesnar-Reigns feud this decade. Given the other two ensured Reigns would never make it as a top babyface the way Vince McMahon had wanted. And Heyman has also been an active hindrance for the likes of Cesaro, Seth Rollins, and of course Bron Breakker over the years gone by. It's quite disgraceful, really. All men who would have been better off without him. Anyways, this was just a quick segment to set up that trilogy bout between these two everyone expected the moment Lesnar won their Paris clash. Or was it in Italy? I can't even remember. That's how much of an impression this show makes on me these days. Even though Femi is now entitled to a world title bout at SummerSlam, he seemingly decided to be a complete twit here and forego that opportunity to play with Farmer Brock in a Hell in a Cell match instead. Quick question, how is he going to be the ruler if he won't even challenge for a top prize, yet alone win one? And right now, there is a certain world champion on SmackDown who could do with getting squashed to hell by someone like Femi. Please, soon. Ethan Page, the homeless man's rated PG version of MJF, but with a healthier, more natural hairline, wrestled Rey Mysterio next. Page is quite funny in the mid-card heel role, and he worked some heat on the masked legend here, attacking his mask, obviously, and grounding his aerial offense. Unfortunately, though, Ethan Page is a fresh act on this show, and picking up meaningful wins on TV is frowned upon for people like that. So he did the job to the 50-year-old 5'6" stem cells enthusiast. Yeah, that was it. What can I say here? An ad break gutted most of this. I don't even know what happened. I'm gonna keep it simple for this next one. Joe Hendry sucks. If WWE wanted a comedy concerts guy, they should never, ever have let go of Elias. And Michael Cole glazing this British blowhard makes it even worse. Cole is so excited about this guy, I'm half expecting to hear an orgasm at the commentary desk as Hendry brought out his two bulls for later tonight, the Street Profits. Montez Ford, someone who used to seem like he could have actually been a someone, inexplicably called Seth Fudgepackin' Rollins, I think this is what he said, I couldn't be bothered to rewind it, greatest in the ring on this mat. Only one of ring or mat would have been necessary to get the point across. And also, furthermore, what a laugh! Anti-Draw Rollins, whose matches revolve around finisher kickouts, blatantly fake kicks, finisher spamming, and poor attempts at ripping off men from the smaller promotion, ripping off Kenny Omega for one, and famed snatcher of deceased friends' wives, Will Ospreay for another. Yeah, you see, when it comes to the Shield boys, and not everyone likes to hear this, Roman Reigns, number 1, the best. Seth Rollins, distant number 2. Jon Moxley, best left unmentioned. So Hendry began a painfully dull song about Austin Theory being upset over that time John Cena roasted him, which was over 3 years ago for one, and which led to the biggest moment of Austin Theory's career thus far when he beat John Cena at that year's WrestleMania. I mean, come on now, like, what are we actually doing here? Send this butt back to TNG, now. Anyways, Austin Theory basically turned babyface as far as I'm concerned when he came out and put this turkey of a segment out of its misery, so that we can now get a match between them. And you know, a singles match between Theory and Ford would be entertaining. But Hendry moves like he's made of concrete, with subpar offense and selling broken up by doing a little twirl and smile to the camera. So funny. Brilliant. No, I don't particularly believe in Joe Hendry. What I do believe in, though, here it is. I believe in Joe Hendry getting future endeavored. There we go. So we missed a lot of this match due to an immediate commercial break. Genuinely, the match hadn't even started ads. By the time we come back, it's on. So we missed the opening exchanges and the groundwork they could have laid for a potential story in this bout. Theory ground Hendry down, setting up some cumbersome babyface comebacks, before Hendry then just randomly won with some kind of sit-out slam that looked like what happens when kids attempt backyard wrestling on the trampoline. Less than 4 minutes of this so-called match actually made it to screen. And Austin Theory, a guy with a good look, who can be funny, who bumps and sells well, who was poised for a breakout role in the promotion at one point, who is still young and in his prime, got thumped by a Flavor of the Month goof who pales in comparison to Danhausen on the silly meme wrestler front right now. Iyo Sky risked it all next. Everything. This was super dangerous. She took a microphone and prepared to speak on live television. Liv Morgan came out and then reminded us all she defends her title less often than Tom Aspinall. Morgan went on a big rant about Danhausen, who is now feuding with Dominepo Mysterio and JD McBighead in the war of manorexic jabronis cosplaying as wrestlers. This segment blew hard, and not in the way the Gooners would love to see with these two. Oh no, it was just quite boring, frankly. And it predictably ended with a heat builder for their next match as Morgan and the rest of the women of the Judgment Day handed Sky an anemic, weak sauce beating. Oof, fast forward, please. LA Knight, the great promo who can't catch things or walk on a flat surface without tripping over, wrestled the less famous but also vastly less awful Uso brother next. Knight and Jimmy Uso actually had some intensity here, selling the growing hatred in this slow burn angle between them. Regardless, the crowd spent a large portion of it just sitting on their hands. The finish continued the Jey Uso heel-turn tease, if you can call it that, as he jumped up on the apron to distract Knight, setting up a Jimmy Uso win. Post-match, Solo Sikoa, of all people, ran down to help Knight fend off the terrible twins. The positive here is that a babyface Solo Sikoa could be a huge success given his comedy chops and general charisma on the mic. A redeemed, colourful Sikoa fighting this new version of the Bloodline is one of the more somewhat interesting things that could be done with the 800th chapter of this Samoan wrestling lineage saga. Jey Uso also revealed he's going to challenge Sami Zayn soon for the WWE Championship. That's right, the title held by the likes of Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, Bruno Sammartino, The Rock, John Cena will now be contested between two flabby, mid-card comedy acts. And we thought Jinder Mahal was bad. Boring, interchangeable women's wrestling next as Raquel Tall beat Maxine someone rather in less than 4 minutes of so-called ring action. Do you care? Well, neither do I. Let's move on. Up next, the bell-to-bell best wrestler in this company, coming off the best wrestling match of the year thus far by a country mile, Chad Gable got to pick up a win over J-Head McBigskull. The action here was the best of the night, no surprises there. Gable is an elite-level talent, and McDonough is a master of bumping and selling to make his babyface opponents look strong. Gable looked to make McDonough tap out from the get-go here, and fought from underneath courtesy of Dominepo Mysterio interference. A lot of athletic offense from both guys here. The action kept ramping up until Danhausen came out to remind us all of the New York riots and general mayhem he caused by magically letting the Knicks win this year. Thank you so much for that. At this point, we went from a good TV bout to general silliness as Dominipo chased CM Punk's Colt Cabana replacement around, leading to Gable finally forcing Mac Modoc to tap out. A whole lot of garbage after this that left me questioning why I, an alleged grown-up, even have this on the TV. From exploding briefcases to Austin Theory and Maxine suddenly being a couple who just broke up. Normally you need to establish a relationship on TV first, before doing a breakup angle, but it's fine, whatever. No one cares anyway. Now, for the main event of this show, we get... talking. Roman Reigns will defend the gold against... Seth Ratings, the Monday Night Channel Changer. We've had 11 years of these two feuding, 11 years, and only one of them has ever been a needle mover in a good way. Screw it, bring back Jon Moxley now. Why not? At least AEW will be free of him in that scenario. Reigns versus Badass Mac Tough Guy Mac Blade Job would be surprisingly fresh in 2026, I guess. Anyways, Reigns and Rollins had a little stare down here, and it went longer than the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. After that, they then rehashed the kind of segments we've seen between these two for, again, over 10 years. All the fresh, newer acts Reigns could be doing business with. And they stick him with Captain Anti-Draw for the second biggest show of the year. I understand Rollins and Triple Nose are very close, and the Nose wants to get his toy... he wants to get his protege, excuse me. He wants to get his protege a good spot on the card, but come on now. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. The fans have spoken time and again. They do not tune in, en masse, for Zest Rollins in the main event. Rollins drearily recapped their long history before Reigns accepted the bout for SummerSlam. Rollins then let out a long, lustful breath as Reigns walked away. He hates to see the OTC go, but he loves to watch him leave. Yeah, this was incredibly dull, and this is coming from someone who normally enjoys Reigns' work. It was simply another fine example of this heatless company's obsession with bad theatre acting to promote feuds rather than, say, action and heat-focused angles and segments that will push the narrative forwards. Pure estrogen from start to finish. Monday Night Raw? More like Monday Night Chore.